Hi everyone, welcome back to K&S Exposed. This is K, Kristy.
And I am S, Sean.
And it is a beautiful Sunday evening. And we just watched a movie.
Is it a movie or is it an experience?
I was going to put an adjective in front of movie, but I'm still processing the one that Sean chose for us this week. Sean and I wanted to say first to start things off, what we kind of wanted to add that we haven't added, I don't think, in other episodes is
where you can actually watch the movies that we are talking about. I think it's probably a valid resource now that we have more people following along with us.
And while we own a lot of said movies that we watch because we have quite the collection.
Yeah.
Those of you that know us, we have quite the collection. But a lot of you may not, and that's okay. Or we can tell you where to find it.
Right.
We also, this is an example this week. Some of the other ones we've done, this is episode 6.
This is episode 6.
Some of the other ones most of the other ones we've done, I've actually had a couple friends reach out and say they listened to the first 4 episode podcasts and said, I have seen your 2. I have not seen Sean's 2. And interesting. That's interesting. And then I had a couple friends say, I saw Sean's.
People who would say such a thing like that have terrible taste.
Okay.
In general.
I don't really think so.
I think so.
Okay, because now you're actually bashing on my friends that said that. And that's not cool, of course.
Know
but
the friend that said that.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, I love my friends, and we appreciate. Seriously, we've gotten a couple people that have reached out to us, friends, good friends that have said they've really enjoyed what they've been listening to so far. And by the way, sometimes I say that have watched this. That just gets that's actually not a faux pas. That's a watch the movie is what I mean.
Oh, right,
you know what
right,
I mean? Right. So if that should slip, and I say, for those of you that have watched this, I actually mean watch the movie and then listened along to our podcast. Anyway, we wanted to note that we're going to start doing that, where you can watch the movie that we're about to talk about. This one I actually have to throw in. I got to say it right out the chute. Feel free to listen to this podcast that's about to occur if you have not seen this movie, Voyage of the Rock Aliens, which we are doing, 1984. Right. However, if you have not seen the movie, our podcast might be a little like, what? Confusing.
Somewhat incoherent and somewhat, I guess, all over the place due to the nature of the movie
the nature of the movie. So this was my first watch. I was a virgin on this one. All I can say is, I think you'll still appreciate the podcast, but if you see the movie and then listen to this, I think you'll be like, wow, okay, totally get what each of them are talking about. But you do you, okay, people? You do you.
But by all means, please watch this movie. Because this movie defies most conventional description. Completely.
I'm going to give you that, and I'm also going to say to listeners that you don't have to have a favorite here. S, Sean, K, Kristy, but if you're on my side about what we agree to disagree on, if you don't like this one, I'm not going to judge you because it's. I'm trying to still find we just finished it. I'm still trying to find the adjective that I'm looking. Just one adjective to find to describe this, and I can't really do so yet till we get into things. This is again Voyage of the Rock Aliens.
Yes. This
is a quote unquote musical to Pia Zadora. Hot little minx in this. She is, I guess, right? With all the 80s hair.
She was definitely. She was like a. She reminded me of like a kind of a pixie-ish type girl.
Yeah.
In a way, not in a like short hair, pixie cut sort of way. Just like she seems almost like just a light on her feet little elfin
Well,
girl.
she needs a burger. She's really super little. She needs to eat. I feel she needs to put some
she's
pounds
even
on.
little comparatively.
And I'm not judging her. She's still very pretty. I just think she's very little. And by the way, P, if you're listening, I have some extra pounds I'm willing to lose and share with you and give to you. So you can borrow them or just take them if you'd like.
Tia Zadora still does a weekly show, I believe.
Is it an aerobics, kind of thing? Because I can see her doing aerobics.
No, she's a lounge singer.
Oh, okay.
She has a corner, like she has a little bar to herself in a casino in Las Vegas. Like just a little like.
Oh wow, that's actually kind of cool.
Sort of thing, and I really would like to
singing and doing her thing.
I think she plays piano.
Okay,
too.
But can you not see her in an aerobic video?
Well,
in
1984, Tia Zadora. Absolutely.
Also, I have to say, I know I look at useless stuff when I'm watching something, but you know how hard it is to walk in the sand? Like it's really good exercise to walk in the sand.
Yes.
They're dancing in the sand.
Kicking it up and everything.
I mean, that's like, I was like, girl, for a little thing like you, that could just like blow away if the wind came like too strong. Like, that's a lot of leg action in the sand. You know what I mean? I know that this is what I was actually thinking of when she was dancing in the sand. Or her and her group behind her. But we'll get into that in a minute because the dancing. Also, when she did her hair with the little... This is why I want you to watch the movie, people, because you'll know what I'm talking about. The little white thing in her hair that oh my God, it's so distracting. It's like a sideways scrunchie, but it's like a... I don't know what she was doing there. I don't know who approved the hair and makeup on this.
It's a very 80s.
It's very 80s, movie. But I can tell you, I've seen a lot of hairstyles in the 80s. We watched Working Girl recently. Mm-hmm. I've mentioned in that podcast, my hair didn't move the entire 80s because the way I had it set with my hairspray. I don't recall ever using one of those. I did use scrunchies, which I love scrunchies.
People
but
still use scrunchies. That's
I did. Well, they're amazing. They should really never have gone away. Like leg warmers.
This is more like a hat, a tiny
hat.
Yeah,
it's like a
ponytail is.
Were you not distracted? Like she's singing and with the white outfit, which that white outfit was cool. With her hands in her pockets,
kind of like
and like all the like
a shoestring type thing that goes down.
But I was just distracted by the little. It looked like a hat, exactly like a tiny hat. I don't know. Anyway, it was distracting to me because I'm trying to listen to you sing whatever song you're singing. Which, by the way, as much as I laughed in this because it's a musical, this is like a poor man's Grease. Oh, no, let me rephrase.
Sure.
A poor man's Grease 2.
Oh, first of all.
Yes.
Shut your mouth. Don't go attacking Grease 2.
Okay. I love Grease 2. Michelle Pfeiffer, if you're listening. I want a cool writer, too. She's amazing. So, it's a little bit of a poor man's Grease because, I don't know, I can't, we just need to get into it. So, we need to get further into it.
Well, this is your first time seeing Voyage of the Rock Aliens.
My first question, honestly, let's just kick it off.
Kick it off.
We do it all the time. It's the premise of our show. What made you go, I gotta watch this movie?
I've known about this movie for many, many years, and I only saw it for the first time several years ago when I was active on another podcast that I was doing, the View and Spew Review.
Okay.
And Adam had a copy of this movie.
Yes.
For the longest time,
it was Adam's pick at the time.
It was Adam's pick. It wasn't a random thing.
So you did not find this.
I did not find this movie.
Thank you, Adam, if you're listening. I don't know that I thank you, but it's sure. It's because
the faces you made during this movie.
Yes.
You needed to be able to make those faces.
Yes.
So you can thank Adam, you can thank me, you can thank everybody. This movie did you good.
Yeah. Can I do it? While you just said that, I have to do a little shout out. I talked to a very good friend last night, Crystal, who's been listening and has been a huge fan and supporter of us. And she said, it's because I know you guys. When I listen to your, the first, 4, that's the ones that are up right now. She said, I know you and I know your inflections and I can almost see your faces when you say something. And you just hit that right on the head because I literally turned to you a couple times and just looked at you and you just started laughing because you know my look. You know what I mean? I was just when a certain scene happened. You know what I mean? And it's that made me think of that because to those of you that are listening that, good friends of ours, you know how we are. And it's, we see something and somebody else might see it. But when we see it, I just give you the look like, what is that?
Yes.
You know what I mean? But because you know me, you know what I'm thinking without saying anything.
Yes.
That's my point.
There was, when I first saw this movie 3 years ago for the other podcast.
And yet you wanted to watch it again.
I have seen this movie at least 5 times since then.
Wow.
Yeah, I am unabashedly a fan of this film, but there was one point when I was watching this where I was like, Kristy is going to love this moment when she sees this movie,
which is what I just said a second ago,
right.
Where I was going with that. Literally,
and I've sat on it for several years now.
Was it the cat scene?
It was the
It
was the. Craig Sheffer. Is it Sheffer? Or is it
It's Sheffer.
Sheffer. Craig Sheffer.
No, you're some kind of wonderful. Please. Yes.
Moment.
Yes. Oh my God.
And and there is. I saw that moment, and I was just like, Kristy might love this movie. She might hate this movie, but this moment in cinema, she is going to.
But I don't know if we'd call it cinema, but I mean, I guess. I mean, that's a stretch. I want the listeners to know right now I'm actually still struggling with the Craig Sheffer scene. The one Sean is talking about, which we're going to get to.
Sure, we'll get to
soon.
It. But as we watched it, since I had seen it many times, I didn't look at the screen. I just looked at my wife.
Right.
Because I wanted to see that reaction. And I got exactly the reaction that I expected.
That was the money. It
was the faces you made during that scene.
Yeah.
Priceless.
Now, do you understand what I just was telling about the story about our friends that know us? It's exactly where I was going with that. If you know us and all I have to do is give you a look, it's like, that's what I'm talking about. There's no words that need to be given during, especially that Craig Sheffer scene.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I paused it and I went, oh no, this isn't happening. I said, God, no, this isn't happening. And then it happened.
And weren't you so glad it happened?
I kind of.
Yes.
Like in a weird, like, it's kind of like I guess. I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I guess if I have to be honest, it's like, okay, so it happened. I'm like, all right, just bring it right now. Bring the fucking crazy right now.
Oh, yeah. This is. So.
Because I was wondering the entire movie, is he going to do a solo? Is he going to do a solo?
And boy, did he.
And boy, did he. And
it's a
people,
showstopper.
There's a cat involved, and I'm not talking a kitty cat. I'm talking what was that, a puma or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it was a puma.
I mean, I'm not a big cat person. It was a puma or something, but.
Yeah, some sort of
what other cats are there?
I don't
think there's mountain lions. I don't think there's mountain cats.
Well, a mountain lion is a cat, isn't he?
He's a lion.
Yeah.
Is that a cat?
No, lions are cats.
No, it's not.
Yeah, they are.
I don't think so. I think we need to look that up.
Lions are big cats. You go to the zoo, you go to the big cats, you get lions and tigers.
I don't know. Jesus Christ. I'm a Leo, and I'm a lion. I should know that. But anyway, mountain lion, mountain cat, whatever it was. I think it was a puma. But that was in the video, people, and you need to see it because you can't unsee it.
Yes, you can't unsee it, and you can't. There's a beautiful mesh of complete seriousness of the song.
Yeah. Oh, when his eyes are on the screen, and then the cat comes across
and
then he lets the cat in the locker.
And then shuts the locker on the cat. Shuts the locker on the cat. That's where he keeps it. That's like where he hangs out.
This is terrible.
So, I picked this movie for last week's movie was not a
for the
fun
look
movie.
on my face at the Craig Sheffer part is
Right.
what I'm guessing.
This was one of these movies that I had on my short list of we're going to get to this eventually, and I moved it up because I'm like I wanted something a little bit more fun. We were a little bit more antagonistic last week.
Yes.
This week I'm like I want to turn it up for the next one. So we need something that I know is going to be fun or silly. And I can't think of anything more silly,
yes,
really.
and where he's going with that, folks, if you listen to Officer and a Gentleman, which was episode 5 right before this, Sean and I always agree to disagree, but we didn't get heated. It was just a different movie that we felt. It was a different genre, and I think this was a little bit more lighthearted. But it's not all sunshine.
It was a serious movie. I mean,
it was
at the end of the day, it's like it didn't even matter the conversation. Yeah. I didn't want to go from a serious movie to another serious movie.
And also, as we've discussed since the last episode, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Really, on a daily basis, we agree to disagree for the most part, right? I mean, we have our own thoughts.
Sure.
And Officer, I just felt was more of our... a little bit more of our serious ones, but that's okay because I like that because
we both had opinions.
We both had opinions. Yes, we did. And, and everything's okay, by the way, everyone in K&S world. We have since kissed and made up, so to speak. But that was still a fun episode.
It was absolutely a fun episode.
And I liked exposing you to it. Anyway, so, you picked this one. Look, I'm not trashing on it. I'm really not. First of all, the opening scene, for those of you that have seen it, please just see the movie so you know what we're talking about here. Otherwise, a lot of this might not make sense, as I said earlier. The first scene, I'm like, is this a music video? Like, it started, and I said, is this a music video? And I said, I've seen this. Have I seen this? And Sean said, yes, because I showed you the music video. And I thought, oh, for sweet Jesus. I know it's a musical, but is this whole movie going to be like a running music video, or is more going to happen? And Jermaine Jackson is in it.
Yes. The opening song, or When the Rain Begins to Fall.
They're all in white costumes, like white outfits, which, God bless you, because it's the 80s.
Dresses.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, by the way, was that a rule? Was that a rule, like you all had to wear white outfits, like on the one side?
Well, I think, yes.
Because it was like two gangs, right?
Gangs, right.
Yeah, but like Jermaine Jackson's got this, I don't even know what that was. It was like a half sweater, but it looked like it was like, had like holes. What do you call those? I don't even know.
It's like, I don't know what the concept of what they were going for there really was.
And what did that have to do with the movie?
It's some sort of like post-apocalyptic sort of scene.
Okay.
Like a Mad Maxian sort of, vibe. But like many 80s music videos, separated from the film itself.
Right.
It's just absolute nonsense to show people dancing and fighting and singing a song.
Oh, and on sand. More dancing on sand.
And on
These
sand.
people must be amazing shape.
Right.
Seriously. Because that's really hard to do.
Especially when the rain has not even begun to fall.
I know, but yet they're singing about that. Why are you singing about that? So then also, there's a lot of eyeshadows in this. Oh my God, so many eyeshadows. I think I said this in the Working Girl podcast. In the 80s, my hair didn't move. I wore a lot of eyeshadow. Mostly blue was my color of choice. There was a lot of blue eyeshadow in this. Yeah. I really appreciated that. I just want you to know. I was like, okay, all right. The first 10 minutes.
All
I'm
of
like,
the
I gotta.
eyeshadows
Oh, and then did you see Pia's? She had like a square just around the white, the right eye. Just blue, and I'm like, what is that? Why didn't I try that in the 80s? That was kind of cool. And then the glasses, they reminded me of the Nick Cage glasses from Valley Girl. Didn't he wear those?
Yeah,
when he let him in the movie theater?
Yeah,
he had those on. That's what I thought of when I saw her in those, so that was cool. And then Jermaine Jackson. I have no idea what that whole scene was in the beginning. Now that I've seen the whole movie, that had nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
But you had something to say about it.
I believe, and I could be telling the story incorrectly, so I apologize. I think it's covered in the special features on the Blu-ray of this film, but I think what they wanted to do was they wanted Jermaine Jackson to do the song, or they wanted to use the
song.
Oh,
okay.
And they were like, he won't let you use it unless he's in the movie.
Oh, okay.
So, but
he is Jermaine Jackson.
Since the movie was already, scripted out as much as you would script out something, they just basically shot the music video. And threw the music video in the movie so that it's in the movie.
Yeah.
It does not really fit narratively in the scope of the whole movie.
Okay, that being said, then,
which is awkward, genuinely awkward, because it goes on for like 6 minutes or so. And, 6 minutes of a 90-minute movie is a significant amount of time.
Yes, and also, listeners, don't start this movie and let the first 6 minutes lose you. Because I literally was like, I was watching the first 6 minutes going, please, this is going to get better, right? And I noticed. So just let it happen. Let it be organic, and just know it's like a video in the first 6 minutes, I would say. But I got to ask you this. At the end, already jumping ahead, folks, when they do the thing at the end, they sing the same song as was in the beginning?
Yeah.
I kind of like how movies tie that in.
Yeah.
Starts with the song and then it ends with the song. It's kind of cool. And Craig Sheffer was singing it, and I went, there's no way he's singing this, because I don't think he's a singer. And you said, no, that's Jermaine Jackson's voice.
It's the same song.
Okay.
It's just Craig Sheffer lip-syncing to it.
Which was odd.
It's an odd choice. There's so many odd things about this movie, and that's why I think it just begs to be watched. It's
does it?
Where does any of this make any... How does this movie fucking exist?
Okay, and by the way, folks, let me side note this as Sean's talking about how amazing this is. As I was looking for the adjective earlier, odd comes up. Maybe that's the one I was looking for. I didn't say terrible. Yeah. It's I love musicals. Okay, when you know many things about me, I love plays. I love musicals. I'm a nerd. I was an English major. It's what I like. I love all these things. Grease is, as you know, one of my favorite movies. I just love plays and musicals. I wish we did more of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to call this a musical. Now, is it? Yes. But is it
by like a textbook definition only? This movie is a lot of things crammed into 90 minutes. It tries to steal from like every genre possible. You have the musical, obviously.
Sure.
Okay. It's also kind of a science fiction-y movie. Well, I mean, it is when you consider there's space aliens. But also, you have environmental issues going on.
Oh my God! When they were trying to be that love scene, and they're by the. And that's what they were talking about, their one moment, him and her and the blonde. And that's what they started talking about, is environmental issues, but it's supposed to be a romantic...
Right.
I was like, oh my God, is this happening?
I mean, there's escaped criminals that are insane.
Oh my God.
So it has a... Not that it's ever scary, but it's like you're stealing from like a 1950s horror
And when Ruth Gordon is the sheriff, we've got problems. Do we not?
You know what? I'd elect Ruth Gordon in a heartbeat.
Okay, well, I would over some people.
I mean,
for
she's
sure.
dead,
for sure.
But
yeah, I know.
I'd still absolutely have.
This was her part wasn't that big.
Was that the show? She's the sheriff. Wasn't that a 70s show or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
I
but we all know who Ruth Gordon is. I mean, she's amazing.
She's fucking Maude.
And
Harold and Maude.
And, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for turning me on to that movie
and
when we saw it.
Movie.
I know. That was good. Rest in peace, Ruth Gordon. She was silly as hell in this.
Oh,
but
everybody's silly as hell.
But I mean, and I also didn't know Devo was in this. I mean, why didn't you warn me Devo was in this, for Christ's sake? Even showing it at the dance at the end, the aliens who are Devo. The band?
Well, it's not Devo, but I mean, they're absolutely. Well, first of all,
that was dripping with sarcasm. Okay, so you should have caught that. That reminded me of Devo.
First of all, it's a real band. They're a real band.
The aliens?
Yes, with the exception of the blonde frontman, that had the wig, that was in love with Pia Sedora. Everybody in that band.
Oh, okay.
what were not actors.
Oh, okay.
That was their characters. That was their band.
The beginning of the show said, by the way, I think introducing Johnny and the Mustangs or something. That was the Pack.
That's the Pack.
Okay.
Yes.
The Pack people is Craig Sheffer's group, his gang, or whatever.
Gang / band of Rockabilly, Stray Cat style.
Yes, which I kind of dug that.
I
kind of dug that. I dug that, I'm not going to lie, a little bit more than, I call them the Devo band. Mm-hmm. So for the sake of this conversation, the aliens are the Devo band. And then when they were fighting back and forth, or battling, it's like Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I did not know that.
Years later with Scott Pilgrim with the two bands fighting up.
So Johnny and the Mustangs was the blonde,
right? With the God, what's it? The Coif.
The Coif, yeah. Who he looked like a broke ass Kiefer Sutherland.
He does kind of look.
And so, when you please see the movie and somebody tell me I'm wrong, he looked like a broke ass Kiefer Sutherland.
Well, you know who Craig kept reminding me of in the whole movie is what's his name? McDonald from Kids in the Hall.
Oh.
Kevin McDonald, like every time he tried to do serious face, he just looked like he was like cracking hiding back a laugh.
We're gonna rename Craig Sheffer because I sometimes on Sean's movies I take notes. It's because I don't want my pearls that I have to escape me, so I write them down. I'm not gonna tell you how many times I wrote down Blue Steel. Okay, if you guys don't know what Blue Steel is, I can't help you.
You haven't seen.
You don't have to see. I don't even know if you need to see Zoolander. You just please Google Blue Steel. It's not a visual show, but I just like sucked in my cheeks to Sean to show him every time the camera was on Craig Sheffer, Blue Steel, especially the dance at the end. 30 times they kept same face. It's like this is not an Oscar movie. We know this, okay?
And it never intended to be.
No, I know, but this is the best part. Please, and I'm not ripping on it because I know at least one or two friends right now are going, Kristy, you're analyzing this too much because it was a fun movie. I'm not saying this wasn't a fun movie. I laughed out loud several times. By the way, I don't think I was supposed to laugh out loud.
Yes.
But this movie is what it was intended to be, like silly and stupid, and I get that. I truly do. However, the Blue Steel was just, I think, sold it for me. Might even have given it an extra half star.
Let me tell you, Craig Sheffer is played as like the toughest guy in this movie, and he leans into that persona so perfectly that this movie wouldn't work without somebody like him in that role.
Frankie is his character.
Frankie, yes.
And what's so funny,
clear nod to Frankie Avalon.
Yeah. And when he walked down, remember, he walked down to his first scene he walked down to, I turned to you and I went, oh shit. He's fucking hot. I mean, he looks hot. It was the black tank top, the black leather jacket, and the black jeans. Also, I want to know, this was 1984. This note I wrote down because this is specific and important.
Oh, sounds good. Hold on. Let me get serious face on.
I want to know.
What love is?
Yes. 1984, after this movie came out, did sales of black Levi's go up?
I'm gonna assume no, because nobody's seen this fucking movie.
Oh, okay. Okay, then you got me there.
Right.
But all I'm saying is, I watched this first time virgin. I'm running out and buying black Levi's because Craig Sheffer had them. People are the poorer for it.
Yes.
That they didn't see it. Also, I wrote that down, and then I wrote down another important question. Man, I know you have a huge, huge love of Leprechaun. People, no, hear me out. No, I know, I bring this up. Anytime, to those that you don't know, Jennifer Aniston's, one of her very early movies was Leprechaun. right? Was it her
might
first?
have actually been.
It might have been her first one.
That, but I believe it is.
You know, pre-Friends, whatever. I'm a huge Friends, connoisseur and nerd. I diss on that movie all the time, and I'm pretty sure Jennifer Aniston to this day says, "I let's not talk about it. Can we not talk about it?"
Well, you know, maybe she should make a better movie than Leprechaun sometime.
Okay,
and then we can talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. Burn. P.S. Sean doesn't really like her movies.
The Breakup was good.
Yeah, The Breakup was good. Yeah. Well, she was naked in it. That's probably why you like that.
And Office Space.
Office Space. But, what about Bad... Bad
Wait, what?
No, Bad Boss. What is that?
Horrible Bosses?
Horrible Bosses.
I don't remember that movie. I think I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
Jason Bateman's in that. That's a great one. No, she's really good. And Goodbye Girl? Not Goodbye Girl, fuck. Sorry, Mom, if you're listening. Not Goodbye Girl. I know it's...
The Hello Girl?
No. Now you're being sarcastic.
The
anyway.
Goodbye Boy.
No. The Good Girl. With Jake Gyllenhaal.
Have I seen that?
Oh, it's I don't know. Maybe it's one we need to do. 2002.
The Good Girl.
She's good in that. Yeah. The Good Girl.
Jake
Jake Gyllenhaal's in it.
Title.
And what's What did you say? You just
so it's not just a clever title.
No. So no, it's
she's the good girl.
No, it's the good. No, it's really good. It's really good. So if you haven't seen that, that's not my pick for the next one. But I mean, maybe that's one we need to see
down the line or something. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not she's good in that. But anyway,
I don't think so.
But anyway, folks, Sean is not a big Jennifer Aniston fan, but for whatever reason, this is funny. He likes Leprechaun, so I'm saying.
Friends too.
I know. I'm just saying I'm not allowed to rip on Leprechaun, but whatever. Sean likes all 7 or 18 of them, or how many there are. Are there like 18 of them?
Seen all the Leprechaun
okay, but but whatever. You like them anyway. I'm going somewhere with this.
I don't know why you're so obsessed with.
No, I know.
I think you like the Leprechaun.
No, I don't. Anyway, I'm going somewhere with this because, folks, sorry, we segue. This is what I thought and what I wrote down. To this day, Jennifer says, I really don't want to talk about Leprechaun because it's my first movie. There's always a star when they get big, they don't want to talk about.
Sure.
Okay? I wrote down, does Craig Sheffer not want to talk about this movie? He can't want to talk about this movie, and I'll tell you why. The scene where he sings with the cat. Or Puma. I mean, please tell me. 3 years later, you did Some Kind of Wonderful. Also... asshole in that, blue steel face in that. They must have just picked him right out of this and said, can you do asshole and blue steel face? Because you can, and then plant him right in Some Kind of Wonderful. Boom. Hey, also hot.
First of all, I buy this entire story.
Just no black jeans.
Because the soundtrack to Voyage of the Rock Aliens is a fucking banger. And I'm willing to bet that John Hughes was just listening to the soundtrack to Voyage of the Rock Aliens.
You think so?
And so he's like, I got to see this movie. And then he was like, man, this movie is nothing like any of my movies.
I'm going to give you that.
But this Craig Sheffer guy is fucking amazing.
No, I'm going to give you that. You know why? John Hughes is a fucking legend. We all know.
Oh, for sure. He's
my hero. You love David Lynch. John Hughes is my David Lynch. Yeah. He's rest in peace.
Man, that would have been a hell of a collaboration.
God, that would have, wouldn't it? David Lynch and John Hughes. Yeah. Jesus.
Well, I mean, when you combine David Lynch and John Hughes, don't you just get Twin Peaks?
Yeah.
I mean, really, if you think about it.
Yeah. But I mean, also, I always think about John Hughes and my many, many friends, please, that are listening that are also John Hughes lovers. You got to know, rest in peace. What would you have done, though, if he was still here? Like, you did all your 80s jams, but, like, at some point you have to come out of that. I don't know what he would have become, or what he would have done.
John Hughes stepped away in, like, 92. After Curly Sue, he just walked away. He did some writing, and he did, I think, some, like, script punch-up. Yeah. But he retired from the industry, basically saying, I don't understand kids anymore.
Yeah.
And he's like, so I don't want to make movies. And he just walked away. I kind of like that life.
Because he also then I feel, and I love when people go. It's not ever good when somebody dies, of course, but when they go out on a good note, I hope that, my other favorite, Stephen King. Stephen King can go tomorrow. Stephen King's always going out on a good note because he's the master, and he's the master. So, and that's how I feel about John Hughes. Those are my two favorites, John Hughes and Stephen King. Nobody tops that for me. Nobody can. You can do one big banger, but you're never going to top those two. That's how I feel. Anyway, wow, did I just segue?
Well, we did for sure.
Sorry, but you can't get me started on John Hughes and Stephen King without me doing that. Anyway, so I had to bring that up about Leprechaun. And then I just want to know, because seriously, the whole time I'm watching him do that song, I'm going, is this Jennifer Aniston's Leprechaun?
See,
you know what I'm saying?
I look at it, no. But yes, I understand what you're saying. This is where my mind and your mind absolutely differ. If I was Craig Sheffer, I would have that image of my eyes and the cat and the profile superimposed on each other.
Yeah.
As like my profile picture on social media.
Yeah.
Like,
I get it.
It is such a
cheesy,
hilarious.
I like cheese, though. I like cheesy.
You remember the mall pictures you used to get back in the day, the glamour shot sort of stuff?
Olin Mills.
Yes.
Hello.
All of that stuff. There is nothing I love more than
glamour shots. They were glamour shots, yeah.
Of people, in the 80s who had those type of pictures done.
Every time I post the dogs on Facebook, I put another Olin Mills moment, because that's what they took our pictures in high school. For the school pictures. Olin Mills, cheesy as fuck. But glamour shots, exactly. I know exactly what you mean. That's why some of it was beautiful, but I laughed out loud.
But I think you were supposed to. I mean, this movie has no serious bone in its body.
And can I quote my husband? Because that's no.
I'm scared to know where
no. And I'm quoting you because this is how my mind works. The movie starts, and I said, it's a spaceship, and it's a guitar. That's how it starts.
It's a flying V.
It's a flying V.
Which literally flies, guys. It's a joke upon a joke in a joke, wrapped in a bacon joke.
Wow.
It's so layered.
How are we married?
As well be
I still wonder how we're married. But I mean, I wish I would have known some of this stuff.
I'm not saying it's a good joke.
Okay. I'm just checking. I'm just checking in. Anyway, so there's a floating guitar, and it is not just a floating guitar, people. It's a spaceship. So that's how it starts. No CGI is going on here in 1984. I don't even know what's happening. But I literally turned to Sean and said, "Is that a floating guitar?" I just wanted to make sure, I'm checking in. I'm seeing things correctly. And Sean literally, and I quote, said, "This is not a serious movie." And I said, "Well, really? I mean, I didn't see it on the Academy's, list or anything, because I already knew it was not a serious movie, and I get it. And Sean makes a really good point where I'm going with this is because he's not wrong. This movie is not supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be silly, and that's why to not confuse Sean or the listeners, I'm not saying this is a terrible movie and oh my gosh, this was stupid, because you have to go into this movie with the intention of how it's going to be. It's a silly musical, but God, it's silly. Oh, but it's laugh out loud too.
It is.
Because I did laugh out loud.
I would absolutely love to see this movie in a packed theater, because I think it would be so much fun, just like in the same way that Xanadu, which is also laugh out loud in certain moments, although it's still a serious plot.
Yeah.
That's just more the laughs from how silly the campiness is.
Yeah.
Whereas this leans into the jokes. But I mean, this is a movie where somebody attacks a police officer with a can opener.
I know.
And he protects himself by grabbing
a can. This scene, well, we got to mention the, what is it, babe? Berryman? Michael Berryman from Weird Science. He was the
and
mutant.
The Hills Have Eyes.
He was the mutant.
Yeah.
But in Weird Science, I'm just speaking to the people that have probably seen him in that the most. He was the mutant motorcycle bike rider that comes into the house during the Weird Science party. Similar character in this that he played, for sure. I have to talk about Allison. I hope I'm saying her name right. La Placa. I know how to say. I know how to spell it. La Placa. And what's funny is, I saw on the opening credits. I saw her name and I went, "No way!" So I figured she was going to be Pia Zadora's like best friend or whatever, which she was. Is, yeah. She looks hot in this too. She looks amazing.
She's super cute.
To anybody that doesn't know who Allison La Placa is, I know she's been in other things. But I'm back to the Friends thing. I'm a Friends super fan and nerd, and she was Jennifer Aniston's boss that totally dug Chandler, and Jennifer Aniston set Chandler up with her, and he just didn't want to, like, he slept with her and then he wanted to get away from her but couldn't get away from her, and that was such great episodes with her in it. She's amazing. She's awesome, and she's awesome in this too.
I just looked her up on Letterboxd. Yeah. Now, this obviously Letterboxd's movies exclusively. It doesn't cover any TV career she might have had. This is her most popular movie.
Is it really?
Yes.
Okay. And honestly, when I saw her name in the credits, I was like, ooh, she might have a small part in this. It was a bigger part than I expected.
Very much. I'm surprised that she had that big of a role.
Yeah.
But then, again, this movie is principally made up of musicians.
Yes.
And dancers.
Okay.
So
please use those words loosely. A little bit. I know you're smiling right now.
Bands here.
Okay. Babe. I'd like you to use that loosely.
They were professional bands with recording contracts.
Okay.
And mostly playing the actual bands, with the exception of the leads are actors.
Okay.
Everything else that's not. I mean, and Jermaine Jackson.
I'm not going to shit on Jermaine Jackson. He's Jermaine goddamn Jackson.
Yeah, he's 20% of Jackson 5.
Christ. And he looks great in this. I mean, this is 84. I assume he's still alive, right?
No, Jermaine is.
Okay.
I mean,
I think so.
I hate to be wrong about that.
I would too.
Folks
don't go. Maybe Google this. I don't know.
I don't know if it was. I hesitate to say this without looking it up, but he also had that other hit 80s soundtrack song.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Perfect.
Yeah.
In the Jamie Lee Curtis movie with John Travolta.
Oh, Perfect with John Travolta. Yeah. He looks great in this. I like to give you shit a lot. I mean, I do this on a daily basis. I don't need a podcast to give you shit. Actually.
Nor do I. So.
But it's part of my personality. It's part of my charm. But
using that word loosely.
Yeah, I got some charm, people. Zing. But I will say, look. I mean, everybody has their preferences. Okay.
Sure.
There's going to be some listeners here that are gonna say, "I watched the movie. This is terrible." Okay, but you got
not wrong,
and you're not wrong. You got to get something out of it. Meaning, like you said, I know you were waiting all goddamn night for his solo, Craig Sheffer's solo in the cat scene, and you said you didn't even watch the TV. You were watching me.
Yeah.
And I literally I paused it and turned to you again.
I wish I took a picture of your face
and I went,
watching it.
No. And you were laughing. Like, you do have a great laugh, so it's funny. So you were actually laughing. And then I said, okay, I have to get through this. So I push play because we got to get through it. I will say this, folks listening. The movie's worth it alone for the Craig Sheffer and cat scene. Nature of the Beast. I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget. Nature of the Beast. Wow. It's a doozy.
Outside of the...
And I don't think it's him singing.
I don't know who is. But outside of it's not him. It's so
it
not
can't
him.
be.
But outside of the Jermaine Jackson song, I think that song. There's 3 songs that I genuinely love in this movie that are actually like part of the movie as opposed to just playing in the background.
Literally wrote no when it came on. I just showed Sean my notes. I literally wrote no with a bunch of exclamation points.
When the Rain Begins to Fall is a bop. I don't mind
that. I wrote down a couple others too. That's
the first song that Rima, the fake ass Devo band, sings right before they land on Earth, the 21st century, and in the 21st century, I think is the name of the song, is a great Devo-like song. Like it does sound like a more melodic Devo.
Yeah.
And
that's all I saw when they were on the stage, and because it's in their alien outfits.
Right.
That's the only reason I said it's like a broke-ass Devo.
They're very much seem to be modeled after that sort of nerd synth rock, of that time. And then the Nature of the Beast is it is silly, but I can't help but want to sing it when it comes on.
Yeah.
And look, I think that your what was the name of the other band? That was the Pack, but the real band.
Johnny and the Mustangs
Johnny
or
and
something.
The Mustangs.
In the credits.
I'll do credit to Johnny and the rest of his Mustangs.
Right.
They were a very Stray Cats type band, as I might have mentioned. 80s rockabilly, 50s filtered.
For sure.
But I don't think that their songs that they sing in this movie are very memorable compared to the other songs, all Pia Zadora's songs, which are mostly not good.
Right.
But and here's what's funny too about the songs in this movie.
Real Love in the Bathroom. Oh my God. We'll get to that in a minute.
There is something about When the Rain Begins to Fall is a professionally recorded song.
Okay.
By
Jermaine.
You can hear it.
Yeah.
You can imagine listening to the radio in 1984 and hearing that song come on the radio.
Okay.
It sounds like a pop song from that time.
I'll give you that.
There's something about the recording that was used for all of Pia Zadora's other songs. There's something flat about the production.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but it doesn't seem like songs that people would dance to in real life.
Yeah.
That's not the case in Grease, right?
Sure.
Everything in Grease sounds like a professionally 100% produced to be the best, most appealing sound of possible.
Right.
There's something raw about that. These songs. And in a musical, it just creates this weird vibe and energy through it because everything, the fakeness of it feels heightened.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's probably, a sound engineer that could listen to this podcast and be like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And it is what layer wasn't added to the songs or something. Yeah. But it's that unprofessional sound to the songs that I find endearing to this movie, because this whole movie looks like it was made. We want to make an expensive science fiction type show with as absolutely little money as possible.
Right.
And so of course they wouldn't put money into the production of these songs.
I get it. Well, it's cheesy. For sure.
Sure.
But I love the cheese. Now, I can tell people a million times Grease is one of my favorite movies. As you know, it's in my top. I told you that when we got together. It's like my top 1 or 2 movies. I don't care who judges me. It is what it is. This was super cheesy. Like them in the bathroom when she's like, you asked me about that to her best friend, about Frankie. And she does Real Love, and they do, and then every stall they open,
which is great.
Oh my God!
I love that.
Okay, I now need a Craig Sheffer poster because they open every stall, and Craig Sheffer was there with his bare chest with the leather jacket showing open, and I paused and I turned to you and I said,
"Blue Stealing."
Yeah, Blue Stealing, and I said I actually need a Craig Sheffer poster now. I mean, I need it. I also believe I wrote down something like maybe Sean needs to do that and does his own poster too, because that would be kind of funny. Like, I think you could do a good Blue Steel. So, but that was funny. And then remember, at the end they do the whole dance, which is terribly cheesy. And then Alison LaPlaca looks at her and goes, all you had to do was answer the question.
Yeah.
You know, that you doing the whole scene. It's like, oh my God.
It's great. It's great bad writing.
It's great bad writing. So that's why, and you know, I'm a fan of bad writing because cheesy.
Well, you watch The Bachelor, so I mean,
yeah, we don't really need to disclose that on here. Listeners, I don't watch all of The Bachelor. I know I watch some of it, but I mean, I don't mind that. It's okay. And then when he does he's got the thing, he's trying to get women to the sexual. Remember, he gets the square thing around his neck. He's trying to get the women sexually attracted to him,
a sexual response,
but specifically Pia.
Yes.
And then all the guys start coming towards him because he messed it up. That was cute and funny.
Yeah.
Like, and I did read it,
and I actually like that gag in the way that they did it.
And then the one guy goes, what happened?
Right.
I never liked guys before. That was kind of cute and funny.
But he followed it up with, but it was kind of interesting.
But it was, I know.
Like, that's such a cute way.
Well, and also in '84, it was also like,
it wasn't like homo scare sort of thing.
Yeah, it was kind of endearing, and it was kind of like, it was funny. And then when the blonde guy, the commander, ABC, Epsid, what's she call him? Epsid. Which is so awesome. When they had to put him back together and they put him through the machine and then pumped him back up. It was just like,
if this was 84, isn't that the same year as Weird Science or the year before Weird Science?
Oh yeah, like where they made her in the thing.
Yeah.
What's interesting is watching Craig Sheffer in this, 84, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm thinking the entire time I'm watching this. What is one of my favorite movies too is Some Kind of Wonderful. I mean, it's all around this house. I love it. It's I saw it in the theater when it came out in '87. It's shortly after I moved here to Arizona.
Bought you the one sheet.
Bought me the one sheet.
The light up VHS tape. Our friend got you the cassette soundtrack.
Exactly.
I bought you the CD soundtrack. Kristy. I don't think I'm rich enough to be your friend.
I know. For the rest of my life, just keep buying me Some Kind of Wonderful things. What was only a little bit distracting for me is watching Craig Sheffer in this going, what? Like, I'm just, I'm seeing your character in Some Kind of Wonderful. But also not that. I gotta say, I'll give you it. I'm going to give you it. Because we're almost done with the podcast, and I'm going to give you this one. That scene with him and the cat in the solo. I mean, is...
the smile it puts on your face is...
I'm actually still smiling now because terrible. And if you listeners clock in and you listen and you go, I don't even know why you guys are saying you like this movie because you don't like it. I get you. I get you, Boo. I get you right now.
I feel like this movie, the general response to this movie, like, obviously, just a little bit of background. This movie came out and died, like, right away. Like, it came out on VHS, went out of print on VHS. Yeah. Nobody talked about this movie for years. The only reason I even was aware of it before I watched it for View and Spew was I had seen the poster come up for sale on several occasions. The original movie poster.
Okay.
And I'm like, wow, this is an interesting cast. And that's as far as I ever went, with researching it. Then I saw it, and I immediately was like, where can I hunt down this movie from? And I found that it was only ever released on DVD and Blu-ray in Germany. So I imported that copy, and it's not a good edition of the film. And then finally, just a couple months ago, Vinegar Syndrome released a new Blu-ray of it with a new master to it, with additional features, on it. So this is and it's available on Amazon Prime to watch. So please do it if you have an Amazon Prime account or Tubi, TUBI. But more people have discovered this movie in the last 2 to 3 years and started talking about it than probably have talked about it since 1986.
Yeah. I also feel, I think you'll agree with me. We've said this about several movies. You're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. I think there's no in between.
I think it's a movie that you're either gonna get on the ride and just kind of take it for what it is.
Yep.
You're not going to love this movie without loving it ironically.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to sit there and genuinely say this is the greatest movie.
Oh, God.
But
no.
But you could easily just, if you open this movie and embrace it, you're going to be smiling ear to ear by the time this movie ends, because it's funny and it's silly.
And I was actually thinking about
and it's better than Hocus Pocus.
Oh my God! Well we're not going to start on Hocus Pocus because that we'll be here all night. That's another whole special thing. By the way, listeners, we're not fans of Hocus Pocus. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, I want to go back to episode 2, Leviathan, because this is one after we did our debut kickoff. Aaron Brockovich and you said Leviathan is the one I'm going to watch next, and because we like to surprise each other at the end with our next episode, and I was like, oh Jesus, what? And I kind of put it off for a little bit because I was just like, I wasn't that excited about it. This one I was kind of in the same realm, but I also I knew it wasn't going to be like we know it's not an Oscar banger.
It's not serious.
No, it's not serious. Right. It's not trying to be serious. That's what I like about it. I'm not going to do my Letterboxd review, which I like to sometimes incorporate in our podcast. I kind of feel I'm at a 3. Not going to lie. I'd only do a 3.5, only because, look, Jesus, for the Puma scene and his solo. And then letting it back in the locker at the end, I laughed out loud. That might garner an extra half a star. I don't know.
All of my friends, just looking at Letterboxd,
okay,
or all the people I follow, one person gave it 4 stars, not counting myself. We both gave it 4 stars.
Okay,
and it's 3.5
across the board.
From that point on.
And I get that.
Yeah.
I feel I'm still at I'm not locked into anything. I still feel I'm at a 3, but for the cheesiness of it, I enjoyed myself tonight.
I also think it's a movie that wherever you're going to fall in the spectrum of liking it or not,
it's fun. And there's nothing wrong with fun.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean?
You need to be this. I feel like if you're going to sit down and watch this movie, you need to be in the right mind state to sit down and watch this movie. This is a great beer and pizza type movie.
Yeah.
If you're just with friends and you're looking for something to laugh at and do fun, it's not a movie that you're going to appreciate fine art.
No, and let the viewers or the listeners know. So viewers, I say because they're watching it, but listeners that are listening to the podcast, let them know. Yeah, this is a musical, yet a cheesy musical, but this is not a serious movie. It's a silly. What's the one with Gina Davis? From
Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah, it's that's not a musical. I get it, but
it's kind of an interesting movie to.
But am I right? It's kind
of because
it's silly in that nature.
Earth Girls Are Easy is almost a remake of this movie, and I never really thought of it that way.
Did I just say something smart?
I think you did. I think you did.
Okay.
It's because those are aliens that crash to Earth.
Yeah.
Right? They crash in her swimming pool.
Sure.
It's also...
And it's Jeff Goldblum.
It's a very MTV-inspired type movie.
Who his acting is better than Craig Sheffer's. Clearly.
Sure.
But he's Jeff Goldblum and she's Gina Davis. But,
Who was her boyfriend in that movie? The Dr. Love guy. I can't remember who it was.
Oh, that's not a Pullman, is it? Bill Pullman.
But he was a good kind of villain, character to the aliens in that movie. But yeah, I mean, it's a very similar toned movie to Voyage of the Rock Aliens, except Earth Girls Are Easy is not a true musical.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah, Jim Carrey's one of the aliens.
Yeah, he's one of the aliens.
Jeff Goldblum, Marlon Wayans.
Yeah. But I was trying to think of... We were trying to think of his boyfriend.
Gina Davis is smoking hot in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's
Michael McKean, also, he's amazing. Anyway.
Was he the boyfriend?
No, that's Woody. I'm not sure who her boyfriend was.
Julie Brown.
Because we saw. I know, and I also know.
That's the only musical number in that movie. I think that's a proper musical number.
Yeah, and Anna's listening to this right now, screaming in the background. Kristy, yeah. I know. I'm trying to tell you right now.
A lot of getting this movie back out into the world.
Yeah.
Took a lot of people working together.
Right.
To make sure that the music was licensed correctly, that the rights were licensed correctly to release for film, to find a copy of the actual film, the actual negative, so that they could scan it. Our buddy Aaron actually worked on the production of some of the special features on this, on the Blu-ray.
Okay.
Because it took a village.
That's awesome.
The band, Rima, the nerd band, the Devo-esque band, still exists in some form today, and they're based out of Tucson.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're semi-local.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And also, I did write down songs, the names of songs. I'm not going to refer to them right now. I think a couple of them we already touched upon. Uh-huh. I really actually liked them. Okay, the bathroom one with Real Love or whatever. Stop it, Pia, and singing in your outfit and your just your half shirts. I didn't love every song, but I'm not going to lie. This is not a true significant musical. But I did like several of the songs. So I also thought the whole thing with the water was crazy with how it's tainted.
And there's like a sea monster living in it.
Yeah, and then the sea monster which comes out at the end. But it's like, and then did you also see a sign at the end? The sea monster, it said Loch Ness or bus.
Yeah.
Like, oh Jesus. Oh.
Well, and Ruth Gordon, and I forget the officer.
I do too.
But their badge that's on their shoulder, is the nuclear, Fallout, logo.
I saw that too.
So it's like all of the concerns that we all had in the 80s, all rolled into one high school.
Yeah.
Heidi High.
Heidi High. Like all I kept thinking was Heidi, Heidi Ho. What is that from?
Well, and it's Heidi. Yeah. The pigtailed girl is their statue in front of.
No, I know.
The school. It's like, okay.
It was like, and then remember when she says, I don't, to the blonde ABCD, Epson, whatever. I don't want to leave because there's no emotion and there's no love.
I can't leave Spielberg.
I know, which was funny. That made me laugh. And then when she's like, but our book deals and everything and our and all the stuff with our band and how popular we're gonna be, and he's like, yeah, but how do you feel about me? You know what I mean? It was so weird because then when she found out there's no love, which is what she was singing about in the second song of the movie, she wants real love,
but she really wants a record deal.
Yeah, and then when she ends the movie and ends up with Craig Sheffer and she's kissing him and they're making out because she realizes, I want to be back with you. It's just like, first of all, I thought two things, and these are two important things. One, why do they always go back to the assholes? That's one. But that's that. Oh, but he changed He changed. Oh my God,
babe,
folks, he did change with the K song.
This is what, and a lot of people don't understand this about proper masculinity, is that men are not assholes because they want to be assholes. They're assholes because it's the nature of the beast.
Okay, hence the song.
They're keeping up their status quota.
The quota.
And the quota
and their persona
is all the women that they're running through. It's getting that number up because they have to be men.
Okay.
They have to be real men. But he's tired of that. He's wondering why he's doing that. He really just wants Pia Zadora.
I know.
And so when he comes to that realization, all is forgiven. All of his past crimes are out the window.
So he does one musical video and he's changed
by himself.
Life. By himself.
Well, and 2 cat girls that just magically show up and dance behind him. But yes, he comes to terms with that. He's like, I'm picking the girl over the band.
Oh, he does say to the pack, who was his band, I'm done. And then he hits them all. I love how he punches them all. And then he goes, Dee Dee doesn't like this. I'm done. Can I not elaborate? I'm done with the violence after he punches them all.
After he punches like 3 of them.
Oh my gosh. Anyway.
It's beautiful.
This is look, Sean is calling this beautiful. It's silly. It's it's a silly musical, but know what you're checking in for and what you're signing on for. Also, again, I've said it like 3 times. If you have not watched this movie and you're listening to this podcast, you are probably completely lost.
I mean, you're absolutely forgiven for not having seen it.
But you're forgiven.
It's been completely
But if you're lost, I
decades.
can't. But if you're lost, I can't help you with that because you
need to see it.
I mean, in order to probably understand our conversation right now,
and also to touch on Pia Zadora again, as a person, you evoked the Leprechaun earlier. And Jennifer Aniston's role is, Jennifer Aniston would not want to talk about Leprechaun, and she doesn't talk about Leprechaun. Jennifer Aniston had a great career after Leprechaun.
Sure.
She went on to do great things, and one of the most successful women in Hollywood.
Craig Sheffer's also in A River Runs Through It, if I'm not mistaken, which is besides Some Kind of Wonderful.
If Pia Zadora does not want to talk about Voyage of the Rock Aliens, I feel a little bit sad for Pia Zadora.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I say this because back when I watched this movie the first time, I knew we were going to watch this movie. So I decided I haven't seen a lot of Pia Zadora stuff. So over the week prior to meeting up with the guys to watch Voyage of the Rock Aliens, I searched out online her other movies that she had made. There is not a good movie in the bunch. And I mean not in an ironically good way, not in a this movie's so bad it's silly or fun. None of them are good. And I don't want to say it's because she's a bad actress. But being a good actress didn't necessarily help those movies either. So if I were in Pia Zadora's shoes, which I'm not, but if I were, I'd be very proud.
Really small shoes.
They would be tiny shoes.
Goddamn shoes.
But I would be very proud of Voyage of the Rock Aliens because not only am I the front and center star of the movie, or at least on the female side, but it's also a pleasant movie. It's a fun movie. And none of her other movies are even trying.
I'll give you that. And I gotta touch upon Craig Sheffer. I mean, I like what you said earlier. Maybe John Hughes saw this and handpicked him. This was 84. Some Kind of Wonderful was 87. Maybe he handpicked him because A River Runs Through It was 92. I actually didn't mind that movie. I actually kind of dug it. But somebody can, and by the way, listeners, if you want to say, don't be talking shit about Craig Sheffer, I liked him in this. Okay, sorry, we agree to disagree. But I don't see a lot of other stuff. That was then, this is now. We love that. We didn't love it, but in 85, more bad tank tops, were happening in that too, but that Emilio Estevez did. Craig Sheffer was great in this. It was also
kind of a gang movie, though.
I'm looking at other stuff.
I think he kind of got typecast into that type of role.
But he specifically went to Some Kind of Wonderful from this. Blue Steel, look, and the one he cheated on with was the chick from Wilson Phillips, China Phillips. So he always had the hot girl. He always had the Blue Steel. And then take him out back and beat him up. He said it in this movie. And he says it in Some Kind of Wonderful. He tells his friends, take Eric Stoltz out back and beat him up.
So it's like his friends do it.
So John Hughes literally went, let me take you out of this and put you in this and be that same dude. Minus Black Levi's. Just saying. Those black Levi's were driving me nuts with the black boots, though. I couldn't. And then in his video with the cat, and they were ripped at the end. Oh Jesus. Anyway, not terrible. It had to be a puma.
I can't imagine it wasn't going to be like a leopard or anything like that, because they weren't going to. The leopard's not just going to casually walk next to you when you're walking down that.
And I mean,
it was a real cat. I mean, there's no.
I think it was a puma.
Yeah,
but I don't know. What do we know about cats? We said that earlier. We're not like connoisseurs. I mean, outside of our own cats. House cats, yeah. So, anyway, bottom line, we'll wrap it up. Because we're just kind of, I feel like we're just spacing it now. No, we're kind of, we keep going on with the same thing.
But this movie's all over the place, and so this podcast.
Yeah, but I advise you to watch it. Again, if you listen to this podcast and you enjoyed it and you have not seen the movie, I think our work here is done, because that's pretty impressive. But I think if you watch the movie, if you can sit through it, because it's got to be your thing. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's got to be your thing.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I don't like it, but you got to be on board with that.
If you watch movies, or if you're familiar with movies, like let's say more modern musical sensibilities, like Xanadu. Like Xanadu's not a good movie, but it's an enjoyable good time.
Yeah, this is not Xanadu.
This is not Xanadu. If you like movies like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It's not bad.
It's not like anything.
No.
But if you like those movies, I think you should give Voyage of the Rock Aliens a shot.
I agree.
Because the Apple,
the Apple with Catherine Mary Stewart, CMS, we love. Also, but let's just say this also, let's note it. If you have no desire to watch this movie, still, please listen to our podcast and hope you still enjoy it, because
well, you know what? Fuck you, it's too late. You listened to it.
Yeah, fuck you, it's too late. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And we mean that in the nicest possible way. But I guess we should announce, because, to wrap this up, because...
Kristy, what are you doing to pay me back for giving
Well, you're actually going to say, you need to say, what say you is your next one.
What pray tell?
What pray tell? Because we always announce I wanted to see how people could watch it. Hopefully you can find it. Assuming you want to watch it. I have no idea. But my next movie I'm exposing Sean to is Little Darlings.
I'm excited.
It is 1980. It's a teen... I hate that they say it's a teen comedy drama. When essentially I think it's a little bit of a coming of age. I don't want to give too much, because I know a little bit about several of the characters, meaning the actresses that played the characters. I will say, I do want to do a shout out because it's important. The girl that plays Dana in it, one of the mean girls, Alexa Keenan, is no longer with us. And let's go back to, she was one of the bad girls in Pretty in Pink. One of the mean girls, I should say, and she is no longer with us, and she died young. She's very young in Little Darlings, and I just want to do a shout out because that's important, because I dig her.
Well, make sure you do the shout out next week when we record.
Yeah, absolutely. Well. It is Kristy McNichol. I also want to note, Kristy McNichol spells her name the exact same way I do, Kristy. Is
that the whole reason you're making me laugh?
No, not at all. But we'll get into that with the Kristy and Jimmy and the singing, how they did back in the day. Tatum O'Neal is in this, and the beautiful Matt Dillon is in this as the love interest. And it is 1980, people, so
Kristy, do we see his dick?
We do not see Matt Dillon's penis in the next one. To those of you that have listened to the last episodes, we do not. Damn it! But, it's inferred. So there's that. But it is 1980. They are all babies. I love that the box office of this was literally $34,000. And, the budget was $5 million. The box office was 34,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, which is funny because it's like, are you paying like these big people? You can't be because it's 1980. But don't let that sway you, people. I kind of want to watch it. I want people to watch this one because it's 80 and it's just different. And I know a lot of people haven't seen it.
One of my friend that I used to write with for the website that I used to write for was a big, huge fan of this movie.
Really?
And
I love it already.
Before working with him, I had no idea this movie existed.
Okay.
But I'll do a little...
But okay.
You said Tatum O'Neal's in this.
Yes, right? Tatum O'Neal.
Not Ryan O'Neal.
No, Tatum O'Neal.
Ryan O'Neal's the one from Love Story, right?
Yeah. Tatum O'Neal is his daughter, obviously, right?
Is she? I was going to ask if they were related. I didn't know. But this is the same guy. So my buddy,
also Tatum O'Neal was in the Paper Moon.
Yes.
Opposite her father, Ryan O'Neal.
Okay, so yes, so Ryan O'Neal from Love Story.
She's the youngest person ever to win an Academy Award for Paper Moon. Spoiler alert! Sorry, I like Kristy McNichol better in Little Darlings, but we'll get to that later. But yes,
Little Darlings was a friend of mine's favorite movie, and
I love that because I don't know many people that have seen it.
He is a guy.
Okay.
I want to say a year older than me.
Okay.
And we were obviously talking about this movie close to 20 years ago.
Yeah. And you're also throwing me that it's not, I feel maybe more of a chick flick. So
and that's kind of the vibe that I get from it as well. Yeah. But he is Canadian.
Okay.
And this was, I understand it, a much bigger movie for Canada than it was for the U.S. But this is the same guy. First of all, he's a big horror guy.
Okay.
Now a director.
Okay.
But he, one week I was sick. Like I had the flu, like real bad. We were chatting online. And I'm like, I don't know what is going to make me get better. Like it was one of the weirdest sicknesses that I had in a long time. It was just a flu, like it wasn't anything else. And he's like, what's your address? I'm going to send you something that's going to make you feel absolutely amazing. And I'm like, okay. So I gave it to him. And 2 days later, I got in the mail a DVD copy of Love Story.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, I don't want to watch this movie. Like, this is like stupidly melodramatic.
This is the one that likes Little Darlings?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And he's like, watch a fucking movie and talk to me about it.
Okay.
And I was sick as a dog, and I watched Love Story, and I don't think I've ever cried more in my entire life.
Is that why you said, when I said Little Darlings, you said excited?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the same person.
Darlings, much like, just to bring it back to Voyage of the Rock Aliens, Little Darlings is a movie that has been completely unavailable for years.
Okay.
You could not watch it. Never came out on DVD, or at least it didn't for a long time. Yeah. So it was just lost to time.
And how do we own it? I forget.
We bought it.
Oh, we bought it digitally. Okay.
On iTunes.
I'm looking it up now for the listeners. All I'm saying is it's available to stream now. Watch it on Prime Video, Vudu, or Apple TV on your Roku device.
Okay, so you should be able to at least rent it from Amazon if you wanted to rent it.
Right, and it is 1980 Little Darlings. And that makes me happy.
But we bought it for like $5 on iTunes.
Yeah, for our digital
collection. To my knowledge, there's still no DVD or Blu-ray.
No. And for the record, also, listeners, Sean and I have a very large collection. We prefer physical copies of items, but where you can see it, where you can get it.
Somehow,
digital's okay.
First of all, you should never not see a movie because you can't buy it.
Exactly.
You should, if you want to watch a movie. I just meant
I'm old school.
I'd much prefer to have a physical copy.
My good friend last night said it's like books. I like books. Mm-hmm. I like having books. I don't, people read stuff on their Kindle.
Yeah.
Right? I just, there's nothing wrong with that, and I'm not judging, by the way. I like books. I miss bookstores. I miss video stores. I like physical copies of things. But, I mean, digital, there's nothing wrong with digital. Absolutely nothing wrong. It's a personal preference, and wherever you can find it, you can find it.
It's however you can get it. Some movies you can't buy. You can't. There are no physical copies available. Yeah. Then you know what? Steal the movie. Download it illegally. I don't care.
No, but everybody has a perfect. You might not want physical copies. You might not have the room for it, so you do everything on digital, and that's okay too. I love that too. We love movies, and I hope you guys love movies. Do it how you can do it. Just however, it's movies, and they're great. And I'm glad you're excited about this. So
I'm genuinely excited. I have not seen so much as a trailer for this movie, but it was talked up a lot to me 20 years ago.
Yes.
And
it's Matt Dillon, 1980.
And most of it, I don't remember a damn thing he said about the movie.
Yeah.
Other than I knew he was a super fan of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm never going to see this movie.
Well, and how many times since we've been married? I've probably actually watched Little Darlings 2 or 3 times. Since we at least twice. Okay. For sure. And you don't really know a thing about it. So I'm excited. It's a good movie. So I'm excited. That's our next one, and we will be coming at you with that as soon as possible.
Well, I guess I better get to editing some shit so that way we can watch more movies.
Yeah,
and I can do more episodes.
We got to fit this one in as soon as possible, and Sean's got to get on his shit and edit this one. So
crack that whip.
Not much editing goes into it anyway, because what you get is what you get.
What you get is what you get.
It's real, folks. Oh, and in case we forgot, because we can't go without doing it, let's end the episode with 2 words. Julia Roberts. Because we can't not bring her up. She's got to be in every episode. I mean, we say her name at least in every episode.
I think that's who the Mustangs were singing about with their Julia song.
Oh, was it? I thought it was Roxanne or something.
No, that's the
police. Okay. All right.
I don't think
All right. On that note, before we segue too much further, we appreciate you hanging in with us. We love the love that we've gotten so far, so thank you very much.
Keep the feedback coming.
Yes, please keep the feedback coming.
And if you don't like us, I'm sorry. We're still going to keep recording.
We're still going to keep recording. We're going to keep doing it. And tune in for Little Darlings 1980. And if you're not going to tune in for Kristy McNichol and Tatum O'Neal, God damn it, tune in for Matt Dillon, because he's a beautiful human being. Peace and love. Be safe. Thanks for being with us. See you soon.
Have a good weekend.